Hades 2. Hades 2 makes you feel comfortable. I know that's a weird sentence in a game review, but let me explain. It's the comfort that knowing the developers took the perfect, high-speed, satisfying combat loop of the original Hades game and just provided a new, fresh layer of complexity on top of that. They didn't try to reinvent the wheel. They already had a rock-solid foundation, and they kept with it, and they gave us a second game on top of it. Thank you, developers, for not straying too far away. And speaking of developers, Hades 2 was developed by Supergiant Games, and the genres listed on Google for Hades 2 is roguelike, indie, dungeon crawling, action RPG, and that's pretty accurate. Good job, Google. And the story is this: the Titan of Time, Kronos, has escaped his ancient prison, seized the underworld, and taken Hades, Persephone, and Zagreus captive. You're going to be playing as Melinoe, the princess of the underworld and sister to Zagreus. However, though, she was whisked away by Hecate, goddess of witchcraft, and has been trained her whole life in the ways of the arcane. Your quest in this game is going to be pretty simple. Starting at the crossroads, you're going to be battling through the underworld to kill Kronos and free and rescue your family. But there's a catch. The surface world is also under siege, and a second, even more dangerous path opens up, forcing you to fight the war on two fronts. It's honestly kind of a badass story, and the split between the underworld and the surface was done fantastically. If you had to give Melinoe a job description, though, it really is kind of like vengeful daughter, but part-time botanist. Is this game trying to target people who like a good story? Or is this just a story that checks off a box saying, hey, this game has a story? No, this game is absolutely targeting people who like a good story. It feels like there's infinite narrative in the game. Every ally and enemy has a ton of dialogue, and every death, every encounter, and even just going back to the hub pretty much triggers fully voiced dialogue that's completely new. And Hades 2 has a huge cast of characters that keep evolving the plot. Quick subscribe plug, smash that incantation button. It's like a magical subscribe. You're going to help the Crossroads grow and unlock new systems and characters. So if you want new content, you gotta perform the ritual right now. And here are the menu settings. The only two settings that I really touched, though, was I turned on auto sprint, and I will turn on aim assist depending on the weapon I'm using. Hades 2 has full support for both mouse and keyboard and controller, but I'm pretty sure the game was designed to be played with a controller. You can play Hades 2 on PC through Steam or the Epic Store, and Nintendo Switch 2 and 1. That being said, though, I expect to see, just like Hades 1, PlayStation and Xbox coming soon. I shouldn't say coming soon, but coming at some point. Now, just to be clear for this review, I have no data saying that PlayStation or Xbox is going to be supported. It's just that Supergiant Games has a good dev team, and I expect, like Hades 1, that it will be supported. One great feature that Hades 2 has is the cross-saving. You can sync your saves between the PC and Nintendo Switch. There is no crossplay, however, because it's a single-player game. All right. The graphics. We gotta talk about them. Hades 2 looks incredible, period. We could just stop the review right there. No, I'm kidding. One interesting thing about the graphics, though, is that Hades 2 has upgraded to 3D models, and that actually makes the animations feel infinitely more smooth than the first game. They've also included a bunch more unique biomes, and just like the first game, there are so many little attention to details that really make the game come alive. Just like the first game, the voiceover in Hades 2 is top tier. There's a huge cast of characters, huge cast of actors, and you're going to get a wide range of witty, emotional, heroic, whatever kind of dialogue you want is going to be in this game. Wait till you see the God of Wine. And the audio, I have two feelings about. The music side, especially some of the boss fights, especially the second boss fight for people who've played this game, you know what I'm talking about. These songs hit hard. They are awesome. They're fantastic. Now, the sound effects. The sound effects are what you want them to be. Every swing, dash, spellcast, omega, pretty much everything you're doing has a unique sound effect. But for me, I felt like that actually detracted a little bit from the game. And when you have rooms that are just entirely chaotic, I felt like the sound effects were a little too much. But with all that being said, is this game going to require you to spend a ton of money on your computer upgrade to play it? No. The developers at Supergiant Games optimize the out of this game, and it requires basically nothing to run. All the game devs in the industry should take a look at Hades and look at what they did, and they should be modeling after this. Not the art style in particular, but the fact that the devs optimize the game that's actually optimized. Then just say we optimize it, and then you end up with millions of performance crashes. I'm looking at you, Borderlands, but actually optimizing it. The game flow of Hades 2 is very similar to the first game. You're going to start out in your hub area, the crossroads. You're going to talk to NPCs. You're going to permanently upgrade your character. There's a shop. You're going to permanently upgrade the game. You can plant some plants. You get it. You do stuff in town. When you're ready, you pick a weapon and a keepsake. You pick some difficulty if you're that far in the game, and you proceed on to the dungeons. And just like Hades 1, you're going to clear room after room after room after room. And after each room, you're going to pick what you want for the next room. If you get far enough in the dungeon, you're going to come across a boss. You're going to beat that boss and end up in a transition area where you can switch out your keepsake, hit a fountain to recover, and do a couple other things. At some point, you're going to get waxed, and you're going to get sent right back back to the crossroads to do it all over again. So what are the game mechanics in Hades 2? Well, you can move and sprint and dash. You can talk to NPCs. I forget what this thing is called, but you can foresee your in-game achievements. Once you complete an achievement, you'll collect the reward on the bottom right. You have points you can explore, which what I'm going to call is world dialogue.
Lamentation flows through the river Cocytus.
You can give NPCs gifts, like nectar or bath salts. Just remember, the first time you give nectar to any NPC, they're going to give you their keepsake. More on keepsakes in a bit. You have this giant bucket of chicken soup in the middle here, where you can do incantations that permanently upgrade the game and progress the story. You also have an alchemy tab here, which lets you craft certain resources. Big Green Shopkeeper is also back, where you can use bones to purchase items. You can also sell fish, and you can eventually get things to recycle into decoration points. The green faces are called kudos, but yeah, decoration points. They let you buy decor for the area. You have Charon's chest. Using these obol points, which you get by spending gold with Charon, you can use these, place orders, and this chest will give you the order after a certain amount of time. You have a little garden that can have up to 6 planting spots. You have your sleeping grandpa. And don't forget your rubber duck in the bath. You have this Arcana Shrine here. The Arcana Shrine allows you to activate cards that are going to permanently upgrade your character during the run. You get more card slots in a currency called Grasp. As you can see here, I have 27 out of 29 possible grasp used. In order to upgrade your grasp, you have to find resources called Psyche. And for all you guys that like to make huge builds, because these cards you can change them out, you do have sets of cards that you can use. Some of my cards are purple because they are upgraded. There's a system where you can spend insights to upgrade these Arcana cards. As mentioned earlier, when you gift NPCs nectar, you get their keepsakes. Keepsakes are kind of like accessories that will make your run a little bit easier, or they'll help you during your run somehow. As you can see here, the gold purse gives you 125 gold. Something new that I don't remember being in Hades 1 are these Chaos Trials. Chaos Trials are kind of like specialized dungeons that force you to go through a certain place with a certain build, and if you complete the dungeon and complete the boss, you'll be rewarded a Stardust. Skelly is back. He does what he always does. He allows you to try out weapons and try out combos, and he just takes the punishment for you. There are these veils over here that I haven't unlocked, but I do know that they're going to do something. But great, I can't spoil it for you. Another new thing in Hades is that you can have pets, and pets actually do something. If you open up your boon list, you can see that Tula gives you 1 bonus death defiance and chances of resources, fishing chances of resources. Alright, you have the weapons in Hades 2 and the moves and such. Let's talk about all that. Every weapon is going to have an attack, a special attack, and a cast. And something new to Hades 2 is that all 3 of those have Omega versions. Basically, you hold the button, charge it up, do some big move, and that move is going to cost mana, which is a new resource in the bottom left. So just to get the cast out of the way, the cast is the same for everyone. You drop this ring on the floor and it slows enemies in. And then you have the Omega cast, which does a little bit of damage at the end. Alright, let's go weapon by weapon. You have the staff. The staff has this nice little jab attack. Special is a range attack. The Omega attack, and the Omega special is this ball. You have the blades. Regular attack, special attack, Omega attack, lets you teleport behind, and Omega special does this fan of knives. You have the flames. Flames regular attack are these fireballs. The special attack is this little yo-yo trick. The Omega attack is a bigger fireball at the end. And the Omega special is a bigger yo-yo attack. You got the Moonlight Axe. The regular attack is this slash, 3-hit combo slash. The special is this upward cleave. The Omega attack is Whirlwind, pretend you're playing Diablo. And the Omega special is the Seismic Slam move. You have the Skull. Skull regular attack, shooting skulls. And the special is a dash, which picks up skulls. The Omega Skull is kind of like a mortar. And the Omega special is a dash that does wave shots out the side. Oh, I think that turned into a skull. That looked pretty sweet. And you have the coat. Yeah, I said it. It's a coat. The regular attack is kind of like you're playing Doomfist from Overwatch. The special is now you're shooting rockets. The Omega attack is a move that deflects damage and then hits you with a Falcon Punch. And the Omega special is a lock-on, which then shoots more missiles. Oh, I forgot one move. Every item has a dash attack. And just like the first game, every weapon has its own aspects. Aspects that essentially change the way the weapon is played a little bit. If you hit up on the D-pad, you can see which NPCs you've given gifts to on the bottom with the hearts. You can also see enemies that you've killed. You can see your weapons, you see your familiars. If you hit right on the D-pad, you can see all your resources. This is a tab where you can use things called forget-me-nots to track certain recipes. And you have recent remarks in case you missed dialogue. And like Hades 1, where you have the, I think it was Pack of Punishment that allowed you to make the game harder. And here you have testaments. You have things like the Vow of Pain, where all foes deal more damage. You have things like Vow of Frenzy, where all foes are faster. Even the Vow of the Nile, blue balls. Each of these skulls are called Fear, when you have enough fear on, and you are currently using the correct weapon, you can see in the top left there, you now have a target to kill with that weapon. All right, let's start a run. During a run, you're going to find these boons. These are from gods. When you interact with one, you're going to be able to select one of 3 boons. This is how you make your builds for the run. You have terrain damage, and when you finish a room, you're going to have choices to make. I can either go through this portal for Ash, or I can go into this portal for the Chaos boon. As you can see here, there are going to be things in each map to find. Well, not in every map, but in a lot of maps. Find a little digging spot. Sometimes you're going to find nodes that you can mine for resources. The rooms with hands are going to be NPCs that you can go talk to. So make sure you're exploring those too. However, in this run, I want the fire one, even if the skull on top means I'm about to fight a boss. During your run, you're going to find gold urns. Gold urns have money. During your run, you're going to find these coins. These are gold coins. This is what you use to buy items from Sharon, or you'll see these shrines that you can spend money at. And usually at the end of the run, you'll find the last room allows you to spend money usually. Speaking of, this money bag is a Sharon bag. Oh, and sometimes you can find flowers. And you can see here, I can spend my money on items here. So we're going to buy the hammer. And you can see I earned a card as well, the Obol points. During your run, if you ever forget what your build is, you ever forget any boons you pick up, hit left on the D-pad, and you can see all the boons that you've picked up for this run. You can see your keepsake, you can see your Arcana cards that you currently have active, and your vows, which are the fear things, the things that increase the fear. On your travels, you're going to find these little glowy spots in the water. You can fish at them. Make sure you hit the catch button after you see the beam of light appear. Sometimes in your runs, you're going to get special events. This one is with the NPC Nemesis, and it's basically who can kill more in the time limit. And if you lose, you're actually going to lose 100 gold. In order to earn Psyche, you can find these lost souls throughout the world. If I didn't have the frog on, it would make you play a mini game. The frog skips the mini game. Sorry, guys. After you defeat a boss, you're going to have a fountain, a place where you can change your keepsake in case it's not useful anymore, and a shop usually. After you complete a run, you get your victory screen. I think you get the point. Hades 2 has a lot of content. There's other areas in the hub to unlock. When you're building out builds, you're going to have legendary boons, heroic boons, boons that can combine with multiple gods. You're going to be able to change the way you do boss fights with the difficulty modifiers that completely change the runs. And with the surface world and the underworld, Hades 2 is a pretty large game. That's enough on game mechanics. Let's talk a little bit about enemy variety. You're going to have normal, elite, mini boss, and boss enemies. Each dungeon has a theme, and each dungeon is going to have its own type of enemies too. I did not see many reskinned enemies. I'm not saying there are none, but when I'm thinking about it right now, I don't remember seeing a whole ton of reskinned enemies. Elite enemies are usually going to come with a yellow health bar. The yellow health bar means armor. Hades 2 is not a multiplayer game, so you're not going to be finding any friends to play with or any lobbies to join. However, you will find a whole community on YouTube sharing what builds they use to complete runs. As for cosmetics and pay to win, I have seen that certain rewards in the game will change Melanoe's appearance. It's not something you can change easily, but I have seen it change. There are no pay to win aspects in this game. On to the cool, not cool. Let's start with the cool. Hades 2 at first seems like a tiny game. It keeps expanding, the story keeps expanding, and you keep unlocking things. And at some point I went, oh damn, this game is way larger than I thought it was. Another cool item is that a lot of the progression at the Chicken Soup Bowl is unlocking quality of life changes. So if you're thinking, hey, I wish I could do this, you probably didn't unlock it at the Chicken Soup Bowl. As for not cool, when you're trying to sell your fish at the shop, there's this sell all button. And I truly thought that was going to sell all my fish, just to find out it only sells all of one fish. Another not cool is the visual clutter. Similar to the sound effect clutter that I mentioned earlier, there can be a lot going on your screen at the same time, and it makes it pretty difficult to pick out where you need to be standing. To recap, Hades 2 is more Hades, but bigger, better, and more ambitious. It doesn't just sit on the first game's laurels. It introduces a deep, meaningful magic system, 2 massive separate paths with both having unique bosses, and a ton of narration. They have the new Arcana system, the new incantation system, and it really makes progression feel rewarding. And like always, the voice acting is great, and the art is gorgeous. While sure, the visual combat and the sound effects can be a little overwhelming at times, this game is fantastic otherwise. On our patented 0 to 1 scale, we gotta give Hades 2 a 0.95 out of 1. And like always, if you guys like our no bullshit review videos, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the video. We're trying to hit 10K before the end of the year. We could really use your help, and we appreciate your support. We need that engagement on these videos. We gotta appease the YouTube gods. YouTube gods are stronger than Kronos. And the tip of the day, when facing a big, difficult task, don't try to complete it all at once. Break it down into small, manageable runs. Just like Hades 2. Every small step, a single room cleared, a single resource gathered, is progress that moves you, just so slightly towards your ultimate goal, no matter how many times you die. See you next time.